YouTube crew, what is going on, and welcome back. Now today we have a much awaited video. I promised you as soon as I figured out and felt comfortable in the Goosh that I'd go ahead and make a video on it, give you my top 3 tips to become more successful in the Gulag. Look, nobody wants to be the $4,000 teammate who's constantly getting bought back. And at the end of the day, one of the biggest and easiest ways to increase our KD is to win Gulag. You know, we're getting a kill instead of a death. That is a pretty significant change game in and game out. Now for the format, I'm going to be going over each tip and of course rolling Gulag footage in the background so that you get a sense of how I implement it. As always, if you find the video helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you comment down below. This is a squad video, as I always say, so you want your teammates to win Goosh as well, so make sure you share it. And as always, if you are looking to continue getting better at Warzone, make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell turned on so that you do not miss any videos. Let's get into it. Tip number 1, using pace to gain info. And I thought a lot about this. I watched a lot of my Gulag footage back to really get a sense of how I gain info. And ultimately, pace can either be fast or slow. You know, in the past, you wanted to play Goosh slower, get a real sense of what that other person was going to do, and then make a move. But this, you can play fast or slow. As you can see in a lot of these, I'm playing super quick. I'm peeking that head glitch. I'm looking to see where that guy is, because if he peeks there, I know he's going to be on that side. If I don't see him, then he's probably going to be on the other side, and then I can start to basically map out how I'm going to play it. So I play this super quick, but the other way that you can actually play this is to play it a little bit slower. You know, play the hallway slowly and try to get a sense of where your enemy is, because not a lot of people push that way. You can also play the middle and basically open up your camera and you can see both exits to the spawn area, so you can see where that person is. But ultimately, tip number 1 is going to be you have to gain info, and this Goosh is pretty open, so it's pretty easy to actually gain info and get a sense of where that person is. Now, once we get that info, what do? Tip number 2, lethals and tacticals. Guys, I live on lethals and tacticals in the Goosh. And there's really kind of 2 ways that I break down uses for lethals and tacticals. The first, you know, maybe you peek aside, maybe you play it a little bit slow and you can't get a sense of where that person is. So you're going to go ahead and use your lethal or tactical to try to guess where that person is. You know, make an educated guess, toss your lethal back there. If you get a hit, you know, a hit marker, you know that person's over to that side, and now you can go ahead and play the rest of the Goosh, and you have a little bit of a damage advantage. You know, same thing, if you're not totally sure, chuck your tactical. Try to get a hit marker somewhere. Try to use that to your advantage. So that's kind of part 1 of how you can use lethals and tacticals if you don't know where the person is. Now, if you do know where the person is, now we're going to use our lethal and tactical to force them into our hands, right? So we're going to use our lethal or our tactical to push them the direction that we want to. Now, of course, with stuns and flashes, those are a little bit different in the sense that, you know, you have total control if those hit. If you hit somebody with a stun, you have total control. Go ahead and push it. Go ahead and get the fight over with. But a lot of times, especially with lethal and tactical, maybe you get a hit marker on somebody and they start to reposition. Go ahead and chuck your lethal or tactical ahead of where they're moving, and now you know they have to reposition back to you. So to kind of slow that down a little bit, right? Let me circle back and break it down, because that was a lot. You can use your lethal and tactical to force your opponent to a direction, and then you approach that direction and you know they're going to be there. So that's kind of 2 ways how you can use lethal and tactical: to gain info or to force your opponent. Now, tip number 3 with this, and I know it can be a little bit tough sometimes, but audio is so crucial. Just being able to hear footsteps. Maybe you don't get a hit on your lethal when you're trying to gain info. You don't see them. Now you got to use your audio. Do you hear them running in the hallway? Can you hear anything that's going to give away their location? Sometimes it can be tough, but this is kind of our last-ditch effort to still win the Goosh, besides just ego challenging it. I'm also going to leave my video here, my best audio settings that you can use to basically hear more footsteps and basically use audio to your advantage. So as I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.